Hello, everyone. This is Jake from Fife Paranormal, and I'm here with the first of many Fife Paranormal live streams here on Google Hangouts. So, pardon me for the first few minutes if I stop and all that stuff. I'm actually getting things set up for the viewers and things like that, getting the chat set up. So, what I wanted to talk about today is just various news, upcoming projects, and our most recent investigations that we have conducted. Now, if you don't catch this video live, which is currently 3:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on January 25th, then this live stream will be posted to our YouTube channel and then shared to our Facebook and Twitter. So the first thing I want to say is thank you all for the support you have shown us here in the past month, or pretty much the whole time, actually, because we are now at 211 likes on Facebook, 214 follows, and it's really cool to think, especially for us, because we launched this in August, and we honestly did not expect to be at over 200 likes on Facebook, 254 followers on Twitter, and 6 subscribers on YouTube. So it's really cool. Thank you all so much. And especially here in the past week with the Abandoned Barn series. That was something, I'll get into that here in a second. We did not expect anything like that to happen down at that barn, but it was so cool that it did, and we're glad that you were a part of it to help us every step of the way. The first thing I'm going to talk about is actually the abandoned barn investigations. So Saturday, Chris and I, we were sitting around the house. He had a day off of work, and we were talking about an idea for our next video. We haven't done a live stream spirit box session in ages. We haven't done a live stream paranormal discussion in ages. So we were wanting to do a live stream. That was the idea. I told him, I said, well, why don't we just do a live stream spirit box session? And then after the session, we do like a little paranormal discussion, keeping everyone up to date, informing them of our newest projects and things like that. So I was thinking we were going to either do it in our dining room, or we were going to go outside to one of the side buildings and do it. That's what I was expecting. His idea was to go to this place in the Shenandoah Valley, and I'm not going to say where, but it's a really creepy area. And we just decided to set up our equipment. We had the spirit box, we had our cameras, and we had voice recorder and our big heavy duty speaker, because we figured we would be recording one video for YouTube and then doing a quick little live stream. No, hold on a sec. No. Scratch all that. Scratch that. We weren't going to do the live stream. I'm getting a little mixed up. We weren't going to do a live stream. We were going to record 2 YouTube videos to launch that, and then we were going to share it on Facebook. The live stream part did not come into play yet. Sorry about that. So we're down there, and it's an old barn. To what we were told, the barn was built in either the late 1800s or early 1900s, and it's very creepy. It's in the woods, and right now it's about 5 o'clock as we're getting to the barn with our equipment. So we climb up into the loft area with this old ladder, and we're setting up our equipment, and we start hearing voices. And so we're like, is there someone else around here? So I climbed down, looked around, nobody. And so went back up, started setting up the camera, spirit box, and we start hearing whisper. And the weird part was it sounded like it was coming up from where we were in the loft. And you can see the whole loft. It's not like there's any side rooms or anything, and no one was in there but us. And so we started thinking, maybe this is a great idea for a video, for a spirit box session. And we went about setting up the equipment. We were setting up the camera on its tripod, and we were hearing everything from footsteps to voices to bangs on the side of the barn. It got really intense really quickly. And so we took a few photos for like promos, and we set up the equipment. After we had set up the equipment, it took us a lot longer to set up the equipment than I anticipated, because every time we would start making progress, we would see a shadow move under the ladder, or we would hear something, we would see something, just something to divert our attention from what we were doing. And at first it was cool. I was like, wow, this is a really active place. And then you started getting to the area of, okay, this is slightly annoying. Okay, let's just get this. Let's not pay attention to it. And finally, what? Screw it. We're not going to pay attention to it until the session starts. So I'm up there and I have my iPhone camera, which when we do our Spirit Box live stream videos, we usually use Chris's iPhone. That's what we use to film all of them. Now, like at St. Albans, when we did that, we used, for one of our St. Albans, I can't remember which one, but one of our St. Albans live streams, we used my camera. And his is, I think, like an iPhone 6, and mine is an iPhone 5. So his is better. It has better camera quality. The flash works really well on it. For some reason, my flash is really hazy. That's why when it comes to shooting photos in the field, I usually use his camera, or we don't shoot photos at all. But that's going to change soon. More on that later. So we have the equipment set up. I'm checking everything out. I'm checking the quality. We didn't know whether to set up some flashlights around to create a lighting effect because the barn was dark. And that was something that we were worried about because when we did this, we didn't know if the whole picture would be black to where you couldn't see anything. It would be just you hearing us talk and then hearing the Spirit Box. And we didn't know if that would hurt our credibility or anything like that. So we just wanted to be safe. And so we tried moving as close to the camera as possible without falling down the various holes in the floor or the loft hole. So we finally found the perfect area to set up the camera at. And I remember checking the camera, the quality, the lighting, everything was fine. And so I hit record and I go to walk away from the camera, and I didn't post this because it is something we can easily debunk, but it was still really creepy. The camera actually moves. The shot moves slightly down and to the right, maybe 3 or 4 inches, something like that. Now, at the time, we didn't notice it because I was talking to Chris. He was talking to me. We were looking at each other. We weren't looking at the camera. If we were looking at the camera, we would have caught it. Then we would have known if it would have been the force of me walking, knocked it, or if there was something there actually moving it physically. So we set things up with session, and we went live. The first few minutes of the session, we really didn't get anything. So we were kind of bummed out. We were like, man, all this stuff was happening in the pre-investigation setup. It's not transitioning to the actual session. And so I think we changed our energy up a little bit halfway through the session, and we started getting a lot of strange responses, very crystal clear responses over the Spirit Box. And mind you, we don't know really any history of this barn. All we know is it's an abandoned barn in the Shenandoah Valley that's creepy as all get out. And it's almost dark, and we're in the woods alone. So it definitely, creep factor times 1,000, definitely. So we're in there, we're doing the session, and we start hearing knocks on the floor. It's as if something is down in the ground floor level, and it's knocking on the floor under us, trying to get our attention. So at various points in the session, the YouTube video, which is on our YouTube channel, you can see Chris and I both occasionally looking down. It's because we either hear something or we see something. And throughout both sessions, the YouTube and the Facebook live stream, we saw shadows galore. I mean, shadows just going to the loft area, the stairs, looking up at us. It was almost as if they were scared of us, and they were also curious. That was the very strange thing. We didn't get any sense that anything there was malevolent. We didn't get the sense that anything wanted to hurt us. The sense we got from that barn was that they were curious as to what we were doing, and then later on, they weren't happy with us being there. But not at any point did it turn evil or anything like that. It was a pretty calm, creepy session, though. Very creepy. But in the paranormal field, it can be creepy and not evil. I mean, one of the things that's really creepy for me is hearing little girl voices over the Spirit Box. There's just something about it that creeps me out. But not all little girl spirits are evil. Or maybe there probably aren't even little girl evil spirits out there. I'm just saying that's just something that creeps me out. And so the barn gave off a very creepy feeling. After the YouTube session, we were packing up our equipment, and Chris got the idea, why don't we do a quick live stream? And I was a little apprehensive about doing it because we had enough issues with the lighting in the evening sun because we could barely see anything. The camera quality wasn't what we wanted it to be. And so I was like, I told Chris, you understand if we do a Facebook live stream session, it's going to be pitch black in order to get both of us in the shot. And then we figured out we didn't have one of the camera attachments to where we can mount his iPhone. Going back to, of course, we didn't expect to do the Facebook live stream, so we didn't have the tools we needed to do the live stream. So we got the idea to Chris hold the camera, and we use my phone as a flashlight, and I'll be in front of the camera doing all that stuff. So that's what we came up with. And even while we were setting up for that, we were hearing voices. At one point, it sounded like there was a mini conversation in one of the side rooms on the lower part of the barn. It was just very creepy because you'd be sitting there. Either I would be putting new batteries in the spirit box, and Chris would be working on the camera, and you would hear like downstairs, and we're like, who's down there? You go down there, check, no one around. We will walk outside, no one's around. And so, because the way the barn is, all around it is weeds. And so if anyone's walking through the weeds, we're going to hear it because they're going to be stepping on branches, stepping on leaves, everything. They're going to make a sound. We're going to know if someone's sneaking up on us. So to hear these voices, to go down and not see anyone, we were definitely getting the paranormal feeling that this is something that cannot be explained. So the spirits, I guess, want us to do this session. So we finally got everything set up, and we started the live stream session on Facebook. And it was really cool looking back the way the lighting was, where it was just my head and all that stuff. I was wearing dark clothes. All that stuff was just really perfect. It was like I said in the live stream, like a Blair Witch Project feel to it. I loved it. In fact, we're probably going to go back to that barn and do some more shots, not just live streams, but more shots for creepy effects. We're doing the session, and I noticed when we were reviewing the clips, most of our clips, the ones that we thought were good enough to post, were EVP. In terms of Spirit Box, we did get a lot of Spirit Box responses and clips. It was just, nothing was clear. For us, it has to be Class B plus or Class A for us to post it. And we were getting a bunch of Class D, Class C, maybe a Class B every once in a while, but nothing definitive, nothing good enough to post. So the clips that you saw, whether it be in the YouTube session reveal or the Facebook live stream session reveal, those were the best clips we got from that session. Those weren't all the clips we got from that session, but those were the best. So one of the things that creeped us out, and it goes back to us not knowing the history, I cannot emphasize that part enough for what I'm about to tell you. We asked, did anyone die up here? And we had a voice that either said the boy or four. We couldn't tell because you have the boy or four. It kind of sounds the same in the moment. Looking back on it, I think it says four, but Chris says it says the boy. So we're not sure. We leave it up to you to decide what it says. But whether it says the boy or it says four, there's confirmation that someone died up there. And which makes it super creepy. There's something creepy about being in places where people died that, I don't know, just adds like an extra spook factor. It's like the icing of a spook factor cake. Weird analogy. But so I asked late in the session, the Facebook live stream session, I asked, we were told earlier that 4 people died here. Who were they? And there's an EVP. It's in the top 3 creepiest EVPs we have ever recorded. I still get heebie-jeebies listening to it. But there's a female voice that sounds like she's in pain, and it says, "Don't hurt me." And the first time I heard it, I thought it said, "Please don't hurt me." but upon slowing it down, amplifying it, it says, "Don't hurt me." So we're curious because if it says "the boy," then there would have to be a story between a boy and a girl were up there. They were attacked. The girl said, "Don't hurt me." The boy must have done something, and he was killed. What's also weird is some of the EVPs that we got sounded like a preteen boy between the ages of maybe 8 and 12 or 8 and 13, something like that. And Chris actually mentioned that during the session. And that was something that I was able to back up with evidence. So the boy, the only explanation we can come with that is maybe there was a young child that was up there for some reason and somehow he died. That's the thing. We aren't sure on the history. But that's the thing about the paranormal. Sometimes you can go to these locations and the spirits will tell you the story of this location. They'll tell you what happened. And that kind of stuff is really cool for us. And I'm sure it's really cool for the viewer because you have history straight from the source. You can't beat that. And so to hear a clip, first off, did anyone die here? For or the boy, and then you have little boy responses and a female voice begging, "Please don't hurt me." I mean, it's interesting. It's almost like the spirits are telling their own story, which is exactly what they're doing. And we definitely want to go back and see. We definitely want to go back and see if we can add more pieces to the puzzle, see if we can find something out that maybe we missed before. Just different things like that. And of course, you, the viewer, it's very cool to have your input on everything. And we're always looking for advice, or if we post a clip and we think it says, "Don't hurt me," but you hear, "Let's do the twist," then let us know. It helps us. And of course, engage in discussion, talk about different theories, just different things like that. And I think the investigations of the abandoned barn really emphasized that. And it really brought that to light. Since we posted the live streams and then the video posted yesterday, we've had a lot more engagement on our Facebook page, on our Twitter, and we love it. We love all the engagement. That's probably our favorite part, if not our favorite part of being paranormal investigators. So probably the most interesting moment of the session, other than that creepy EVP, was I think it's 9 minutes and 12 seconds in. It's something like that. Chris pans around towards the loft ladder with his camera, and he says during the stream that he saw a shadow person standing in the loft. Now, at the time, I was focusing on the spirit box. I wasn't looking there. I didn't see it. He said he saw it, and a lot of other people commented yesterday that they saw the shadow too. Now, I don't have the best vision in the world. I have not been able to see anything that I can say for 100% certainty is a shadow person. I do see something there that looks interesting. I can't pick out a human shape. And that doesn't mean it's a deformed human or anything like that. It's just I'm having issues seeing it. That doesn't mean it's not there. That doesn't mean Chris is wrong. That just means I'm having issues seeing it. So definitely that will require more analysis. And if I find anything conclusive on that piece of footage, I will definitely let you all know. But that brought up something in my mind. I was like, we have all this audio evidence. We have a few photographs that could possibly be spirits. Nothing definitive. The only definitive thing is a picture I took at the Shortridge Cemetery, but I will not post that because it's something that is up in the air. It could be a spirit. It could be not. It's just, I'll get into that here later. We do have one from our very first investigation, our first overnight investigation, which was at Montgomery Hall Park in Stanton, Virginia. And it looks like a woman standing next to a table looking at our voice recorders, and she's wearing a white dress. She has brown hair, and you can make out a face. It's just where the camera quality for the camera I was using was low quality. It kind of looks like matrixing. And that's part of the thing with the paranormal field is you get so excited that sometimes you forget to analyze these photos in depth. You might take one look, your mind sees a person standing over the table, and you instantly post or publish a spirit looking over the table, 100% proof, exclamation point, exclamation point, exclamation point. But it's not. That's just you having what I call the Christmas morning child syndrome. You get excited as a kid would on Christmas morning, which anytime we get a good clip or good piece of evidence, I get that feeling, and Chris gets that feeling. And we hope all of you get that feeling too, because you're a part of this journey with us. You are an extension of Fife Paranormal. Whenever we go live, you are members of Fife Paranormal in that moment, at that time. You are helping us investigate. You are our extra ears, extra eyes, extra everything. So ties into that. But the abandoned barn, I've talked to Chris, his schedule here recently with work is insane. So we probably won't do another session from the barn for at least a week, maybe a little less than that. We're hoping maybe on Tuesday or Wednesday of next week, we'll do a session in the barn. But if we're not able to, I'm debating going over there myself, just me solo, not doing a session, but doing like a little location piece, taking a few photos, different things like that. So enough of the haunted barn right now. The next thing I want to talk about is Fife Files. Fife Files is our first main series that caught on, got a lot of views. And Fife Files, what are the Fife Files? The Fife Files, to sum it up pretty quickly, whenever I investigated a location, whether it be with Chris, without Chris, or anything like that, I usually reviewed the clips and I wrote them all down by hand. And I wrote down various notes like, hear footsteps here while I was standing there. This person was doing that. Just a lot of that stuff. I did it by hand so I could have the personal touch. And I believe that when you write things down, it sticks in your mind more than if you were to type it on a notepad or anything like that. So I would write down these notes for every location. And I would always write down what time we were there. I wouldn't write the coordinates, but I would write where we were so that if I ever wanted to go back, I could easily find it. Just different things like that. And I did it with the Short Ridge Cemetery, Mullen Cemetery, and the Indian Burial Mound. I did it with a few cemeteries in West Virginia and Virginia, and in South Carolina I investigated. And I did it with St. Albans the 3 times we went. Now, one thing I do want to say real quick, there's a lot of investigations I conducted that Chris wasn't there. It was either just me solo or I had one of my uncles with me or anything like that. But there were a lot of sessions that Chris wasn't there. But I would always call him after the investigation, give him a full status report. I would send him clips, potential photographs or videos, anything like that. So even though he wasn't there in person, I guess you could say he was there in spirit. No pun intended to that. So the Fife Files, I decided a lot of my files I was going to keep secret. It isn't something that I'm going to publish all the time because when I wrote down a lot of these files, Fife Paranormal wasn't on social media yet. So I was thinking that Fife Paranormal on social media, whether it be Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, Pinterest, Instagram, Snapchat, anything, I don't want to have all of this stuff already posted on my personal page or on my blog on Google Plus, which is called Fife Paranormal. So you can check that out, google.com/fifeparanormal.blogger.com. So I haven't updated it in a while, but that's just something I had for a while. And that's where I put a lot of the early case reports in case you want to go back and look at those. So I decided not to flood my personal timeline with this. And I wanted to make it special when I did upload these case reports. And I'm a history buff. I absolutely love history. And so when I do these Fife Files, I want to cover how I heard about this place, why it interested me, the history, the pre-investigation, the investigation, the reveal of the evidence, my thoughts, and then conclusion. That's how I wanted the process to go. and I wanted to learn some video editing, some photo editing, so I could create cool looking thumbnails. I could have really cool looking video effects, something that didn't look like a kindergartner put it together. That was pretty much my thoughts at the time when I was starting the Fife Files. And when I say that they're top secret files, they are secret files. I mean, some of our videos, like the early videos, top 10 EVP and Spirit Box clips, they do contain clips from these locations, but they're not clips from these locations in bulk. You understand? It's just, I have a few of these every once in a while that I post every once in a while, just to kind of, in a way, hype up the location a little more. So to do this, I decided I'm going to try and upload one every month. That was my start. And I figured I would make a huge deal out of it, not necessarily do clickbait or overhype it. I just wanted to get people as excited about it as I was about it. Words are a little hard today. Excuse me. So out of all the Fife Files I've worked on, I actually am working on one right now. I'm going to go back and redo some of my earlier ones because I do have a brand new video editing software, and I just want, it gives it more of a professional look. And that's what I want. That's what we want for Fife Paranormal. We want that professional look. Like the logo that is currently on your screen, the Fife Paranormal official YouTube, and our YouTube logo and all that stuff, I made that. I used the logo software, and I spent hours and hours for a full-on week learning how to use it. And then I came up with that. Just because everything we do, we want it to be homemade. We want it to be, I'm sure there's another term for it, but for me, I want the personal touch. I want to go back years or months from now, look at this and say, I remember doing that. I remember drawing it out. I remember designing it. I remember setting the dimensions, all that stuff. So same thing with the Fife Files. And that's why when it comes to these live streams, I don't mind a little flub every once in a while, a little goof up, hiccup. I don't mind, because anything like that, any little imperfection is like the personal touch. As long as it's not a big blaring goof up or long pause that just makes it awkward. Other than that, it's a personal touch. So as for Fife Files, the next one will be posted probably around Valentine's Day, and it will be a redo of one of our old ones. I'm not going to say which one it is yet, but the only hint I will drop is it has to do with South Carolina, and it's not just going to be one location, because we have investigated 2 locations in South Carolina, and I'm going to go ahead and do a Fife Files thing on that. The next thing I want to talk about is private investigations. When it comes to us actually renting out a place, investigating it on our own, we have never done that. We have never done an actual private investigation to where we're the only ones in the building. And that's something that's going to change this year. And for the one viewer that just joined us, hi, thank you for joining us. I'm talking about private investigations right now. I just finished talking about Fife Files and the abandoned barn investigation. So private investigations, we have 3 locations that are currently in our heads that we want to check out in 2017. The first one, which will probably be the first one we do, is going to be a private investigation of St. Albans Sanatorium in Radford, Virginia. Now, nothing is confirmed for any of these. These are just ideas. I have contacted the people out of St. Albans about setting up a date, hopefully in either March or April, but we're shooting for March. We figured doing our very first one at St. Albans is a good idea because we investigated that location 3 times last year. We have both done a lot of research on St. Albans. We've seen all sorts of videos. We're very familiar with that location. And to be honest, when we're there, it kind of feels welcoming, as if not really like we're at home there, but like we're welcomed. I mean, everything is familiar. We can easily find our way around that entire building. And it's a gigantic building. In fact, the last time we were there, we actually got lost a little bit, and we made our way from Peekaboo Hallway all the way down to the safe room. So that was something really cool that we did. And we just feel at home there, and the staff's really good. We love dealing with them. And we want to work on documentary style things. That is something I was actually going to wait until the end to talk about, but we are actually working on a Fife Paranormal DVD. Right now, it's just in the early stages. I'm working on one investigation, which is the Stanton Train Depot. I'm getting the history together, the clips for that, but we're going to try and have something out by the spring, a little DVD type thing. So if that's something you're interested in, please let us know. If you have a suggestion for any of our investigations you would like to see compiled into a little DVD that'll be about an hour long, please let us know. If you have suggestions, we would love to hear it. So private investigations, other than St. Albans, we were thinking of the Exchange Hotel in Gordonsville, Virginia. That's a location that we were there last year for the Paracon, and we loved it. And it's also be a good time to announce now that we are going to be guest speakers at the 2017 Paracon at the Exchange Hotel. And we're very excited for that. It's our very first time actually speaking in public at an event. We're actually already starting the preparations for that, getting little like talking point cards ready, working on getting in sync with things like that. So the Exchange Hotel is another location. And Chris has always been fascinated with Moundsville Sanatorium, Moundsville Penitentiary, or just Moundsville, West Virginia. He loves that area. So that's something we're looking into checking out. And we were talking about doing that maybe in the summer if we do that. Just immature humor there, doo-doo. But I've always been interested in Pennhurst State School in Pennsylvania. I saw it on an episode of Ghost Adventures about a year ago. And for some reason, that location has always stuck out to me. I don't know if it's just the sad history of it, all the 1968 series that an ABC television affiliate did, of which I've seen about 3 or 4 times. There's just something about it that always sticks out to me. And that's a location I would love to go check out. But it's very far away, and it costs a good bit of money. So all this stuff is in the planning stage. Any investigation that we decide to do, any idea or anything like that, we will definitely keep you informed. One thing that Chris and I had decided to do, if his schedule and my schedule permits, we're going to do one live stream investigation a month. This month, we did 2. We did the Stanton Train Depot and the abandoned barn. We might not do one in February due to scheduling, and winters here in Virginia are usually terrible in February. But from March on, it is confirmed we will be doing one investigation live stream a month. Now, what this means, this isn't just us in our dining room or anything like that doing a live stream. This is actually at a location doing the full live stream, not bits and pieces, the full thing. So definitely stay tuned for more on that. One thing we're also going to do, and this has to do with that live stream, is on our Twitter, we have a bunch of polls. We have one currently up now, which is what series would you like us to do next? Either locations we want to investigate, my scariest experiences, or equipment tutorials. And last time I checked, locations we want to investigate is actually winning. So what we will do, and it'll kind of bring the Facebook and Twitter crowd together, is whenever the time of the month comes for us to do a live stream investigation from a location, we will put a poll on Twitter. And it's 3 locations for you to choose from. And whichever one wins, that's where we will investigate. So it's a way to get you involved in deciding where we go. It kind of keeps that mystery, the level of mystery for us. It's like, well, where are we going to go? We don't know. It's up to the viewer. It's all that cool stuff. So next thing I'm going to talk about is social media. Social media is something that we have learned over time how to not really master, but how to become fluent with it in terms of reaching more people, getting more content out for you to enjoy. And I just want to say everything that we post, every live stream, every text post, every photo, it's for you. Nothing we do is for us. We want to get you, the viewer, as engaged in our work and research and investigations as we possibly can. And without your support, the viewer, we would probably not be as gung-ho about going to investigations or researching new topics as we are now. But things are kicking off for Fife Paranormal. And just because things are starting to pick up, we're starting to get a lot more views, that doesn't mean we're going to shove the viewer to the side. We will always have you first. It doesn't matter if one day we have 10 million likes, we have 1,000 comments on a video. We will take the time to like and reply to every single comment. Because like I said, without you, none of this would be possible. So whether it's Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, or anything like that, we will always publish the best content possible. We would not publish anything that would offend our viewers or would make us look bad, question our credibility, anything like that. So next thing I'm going to talk about is our equipment. Our equipment, when we were in 2010, when I started in the field researching, Chris taught me a lot of the old school techniques. And he started with a notebook, a flashlight, a little camera from the late 80s, I forget what they're called, and one of those big tape recorders where you had to put the cassette tape in it and all that stuff. Something you would see Ed Warren use. So he taught me that you don't need to rely on equipment. Rely on what your body is telling you, because 9 times out of 10, your body will let you know if a spirit is around way before any piece of equipment will use. So we've always kept it simple. Usually on my investigations, I always have a voice recorder, spirit box, and a camera. That's pretty much all I take on a typical investigation. Now, when I mean typical investigation solo, that means to like a cemetery, or if I see an abandoned place and I decide to go, that's what I use. But when it's an actual Fife Paranormal, it's Chris and I, or it's a location I actually want to document, I usually have the K2 meter. I have 2 different cameras, which one is my iPhone. I usually have a digital camera with me, and I have my Sony Handycam, which is very cool to use. I love using that. The only issue with the Sony Handycam is it doesn't have IR and it doesn't have night vision. So in terms of equipment, we've kind of kept it simple. Now there's actually, I do have a wish list, and it's, I think, like 14 different pieces of equipment I want to use, and I'm not going to read it off, but a few of the equipment I want to use, I do want to try the Obvious X. I know it's a controversial piece of equipment. A lot of people say it's fake. A lot of people say it's real. It's something I would like to try. I have used one. Actually, a friend of mine, they have one. And it was kind of cool. There were, like a lot of people say, there's a lot of random answers. Like I asked, is anyone here with us? And we got a voice saying pizza. So the chances of someone being named Pizza or their nickname being Pizza, I think, is kind of low. I'm not discounting it, but I'm just saying it's just a little too random for my taste. But I just want to experiment with it. And of course, you always have like the dream piece of equipment, which is like, what's the name? The SLS camera. That's something that would be cool to use. We actually had a Kinect when it came out, and I wish we would have kept it because we have all the components needed to make our own SLS camera. It's just we got rid of the Kinect, and I'm kind of kicking myself for that one. And we, of course, want to use a thermal imaging camera. Now, here's my worry. If we got Ovulus's, more cameras, a thermal imaging camera, would we not focus as much on our surroundings, what's happening around us, as we would watching our equipment? And what I mean by that is, would we be in a room, would we be staring at screens, whether it's me looking at the thermal imaging camera and Chris working on the Obvious X or anything like that? And for all we know, there could be a bunch of shadow people doing high kicks right in front of us, and we would never know. So we want to keep it simple because we want to focus on the environment around us. And we want to try to find a way to where we can incorporate more pieces of equipment to our investigations while still being able to view our surroundings. And the idea we came up with that is have cameras like body cams on us. I know since I wear glasses, something that I had looked into was You can get prescription goggles, and they have a camera attached to them. And it's perfect because it shoots in 1080p. It's got high quality audio on it, and it has night vision. So if it has night vision, which is perfect, if it had IR, that would be even better. So we were looking into possibly getting those goggles, which it would look kind of weird. I would have like a Terminator feel, or if you're a Batman fan, I would look like Deadshot during investigations, which Chris said was a terrible idea. Me looking like Deadshot or something like that on investigations, I was fine with it, for the record. But we're looking for things like that. And of course, the way we'd probably do it, because having the spirit box and a speaker, you can do that with one hand, but we like to use two hands, one for the spirit box to operate it effectively, and the other holding the speaker to operate it effectively. And then the other person holds a camera and a voice recorder. Well, right there, you don't have anything for flashlights. You can't see where you're going. So you have to put the speaker and spirit box in one hand, have a flashlight. And that's kind of the bare bones piece of equipment. That's the bare bone equipment setup. And I know a lot of groups, they have like 4 or 5 different people that specialize in different things. And we want to keep it, for now, that may change in the future, we're not sure. But we want to keep it just Jake and Chris. This is Fife Paranormal right now. Sure, on investigations, if someone's interested in joining us, yeah, we would love to talk to you about it. Hopefully set something up to where you can join us. But on typical investigation, it's just us two. And so one thing we do is, at a location, to compensate for that, is we set up temporary command centers. Like at St. Albans, we'll set up like a little mini command center in the bowling alley. And we'll set down our voice recorder, set our spirit box next to it. I'll have either a flashlight digital camera, or I'll have my Sony Handycam. Chris will have a flashlight digital camera. Now, the problem is we're not standing close to the spirit box, so we can't fully understand what it's saying, but we still have the audio recorder running, so that even though we can't hear exactly what it's saying, it can pick it up, so that later we can review. But then again, if you're standing 20 yards away from the spirit box, you hear someone whisper right in front of you, you're not going to pick it up. So we tried it last year at St. Albans on Friday the 13th in May, that investigation of carrying 2 voice recorders, me carrying the black one, and Chris having the old Olympus one that I got in 2010. And it worked really well. We got that strange hiss that could possibly be the Goat Man at St. Albans. That was a really cool clip. Really creepy, too. I don't like goat men for obvious reasons, but we're just trying to look for ways to improve our equipment setup while still keeping our wits and our eyes on the environment, if that makes sense. So, like always, if you have a suggestion for something we can do, whether it's set up brackets or anything like that, sure, let us know. We would love to hear it. Now, the last thing I do want to talk about is upcoming projects. In terms of projects, the thing we've had our focus on right now is the abandoned barn sessions. One thing I was thinking when I posted the video yesterday, I was like, well, when I reveal the evidence, especially from the Facebook session, which that evidence was insane, do I include the live stream so that people have to watch, or before the evidence revealed, there's a 14-minute video in case they missed the live stream and the review, so it has like the professional look? Or do I just post the evidence without context? So you might get, like I could have posted the evidence and you would have heard something like the female voice saying, "Don't hurt me." But you would be like, wow, that's interesting. We didn't see the YouTube video, so what's this location like? Show us some video or photographs. And then you have to hunt through our timeline, and it's not that big of a pain in the butt. But when I make these videos and when Chris is helping me, we want it to be as simple as possible. We don't want it to be this big convoluted mess. So I decided to include a little pre-thing and then the live stream. I edited some parts out of it, like at the beginning when we were kind of off topic and not talking about the abandoned barn. I edited that out. Towards the end, I edited a little bit out of just us not talking about the barn. I wanted the entire video to be focused on the barn. And at any point in the video we weren't talking about the barn, I went ahead and decided to cut it out. And then, of course, had the 2-minute long evidence review at the end. So what I decided to do is, I think it's going to be on Monday, this upcoming Monday, I have compiled all the evidence we collected from the abandoned barn, and I will post it on the Fife Paranormal Twitter. I will post it on the Fife Paranormal YouTube, and I will post it on the Fife Paranormal Facebook. Excuse me. So keep an eye out definitely for that. Another thing we were worried about is how much is too much content, because we want to post every single day. And we don't want to lose, of course, anybody. And I know Twitter, there's something about, I don't know why it is, but if you go like a day without posting, you lose followers. I don't know what it is, but we try to have good quality content up every single day. Or if it's not good quality content, it's a teaser for an upcoming project, anything like that. So definitely, if you have any comments, ideas, or anything like that, please comment in the chat section of this live stream. Comment on the wall, post it on Fife Paranormal, or message one of our pages. We would love to hear, because it's up to you. A lot of the stuff we do, if you want us to do a series on the scariest paranormal cases of all time, we'll do it. Now, we won't take every single suggestion. I mean, there's certainly, we'll have to talk it over and different things like that. There is a kind of like an etiquette list we have, which kind of convoluted. I have a lot of free time, so I come up with convoluted things. So I want to thank everyone who tuned in to this little live stream. I'm going to try and do this once every week, and it will be on our YouTube. So if you're seeing this on the Facebook or Twitter and you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, go ahead and do that right now so you can be notified whenever we go live. Our upcoming projects, second week of February, I have the 5 files. Monday, the abandoned barn evidence collection will be posted. I might be writing a case report for the Stanton Train Depot January 9th investigation on our Facebook page here in the next few days. I'm not sure about that. That's something I might do. I am probably going to eventually, either this week or next week, start recording an equipment tutorial series and kind of an investigation how-to series, like how to use a voice recorder, how to use a spirit box, how to use a flashlight effectively on a paranormal investigation. Just kind of like the basics, but it's not the typical basics you hear in every single paranormal tutorial. It's going to be kind of like our spin on things, our twist. So that's something that we want to cover. And if you have suggestions, I know I ask this a lot, but if you have a suggestion for a video you would like to see, please let us know. If there's a case that you think would be interesting to check out, let us know. But I want to thank everyone for tuning into the stream. Leave a like if you enjoyed. If there was something that caught your attention in this video and you want to let us know, please leave a comment below. Be sure to check out Fife Paranormal on Facebook, www.facebook.com/Fife Paranormal. Check us out on Twitter, www.twitter.com/Fife Paranormal. And then check out our YouTube, www.youtube.com/FifeParanormal.com. So hope I got those right. I haven't done that in a while. Thank you all for watching this live stream. Have a good day, everybody.